We're going to start again. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to meeting number 10 of the West Lincoln Council. Today is Tuesday, May 23rd, and I would like to say, please, that Councillor Bell sends his regrets this evening. So note to members of the public that cell phones, pagers, and/or PDAs should be turned off. Members of the public who are attending, and we have nobody there in the audience tonight, but are participating virtually, are reminded to keep their microphones muted until they're acknowledged to speak. Additionally, for your information, please be advised that this meeting will be live streamed as well as recorded and will be available on the Township's website. So I'm going to ask you first to stand for O Canada, tonight performed by Cairn Christian School. Thank you. Thank you. And as always, we thank the children for doing that. And if there are any schools out there that are interested in doing the same, now that choirs have been running for a while, we'd be happy to accept some more school choirs singing O Canada. So comments from the public may be made tonight if you have an item on the agenda, provided that you have advised advise the chair during the request to address an item on the agenda section. For those individuals who are unable to attend a meeting in person, any meeting, you may always submit comments for matters that are on the agenda by either emailing jshime@westlincoln before 4:30 on the day of the meeting. Comments submitted will be considered as public information and read into the public record. By contacting the clerk's department, you can request also a Zoom link if you want to attend that way. I've already mentioned that this meeting is being live streamed and that it will be recorded and will be available by clicking on the meeting video link, which is found on the Township's website. So I'm going to start with the land acknowledgement. The Township of West Lincoln, being part of Niagara Region, is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Darrok, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The Township of West Lincoln, as part of the Regional Municipality of Niagara, stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. And Councillor Riley, you have the opening petition.
I do, Madam Mayor. We gather together here today, intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. May our efforts be blessed with insight, guided by understanding and wisdom. We seek to serve with respect for all. May our personal faiths give us strength to act honestly and well in all matters before us.
Thank you, Councillor. So I'm going to ask members of council if there are any disclosures of pecuniary interest and/or conflict of interest before we begin this meeting. Okay. And are there changes in order of any items on the agenda? Okay. We have no one in the gallery, so I'm just going to ask if there's anybody watching online, Kevin, that might be interested in speaking tonight.
Not seeing you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And did you hear from anyone, Madam Clerk, interested?
No, I did not, Madam Mayor.
And we have nobody in the gallery, but we do have Councillor Woodavine with his remarks. And we have no appointments or presentations either, so Councillor Woodavine, welcome to our council meeting, and the floor is yours, sir.
Okay. We have sound, so. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and fellow councillors, staff, and members of the public. Late last month, I attended a Waste Management Steering Committee. A brief update was given on the Producer Responsibility Program from the province. Staff is still working through negotiations on the base compensation and which year it will apply to. On the illegal dumping incidents, we have seen a leveling off, and staff are monitoring areas seen to have the most repeated problems. If council has areas of concern in their wards, please reach out or have residents contact the waste hotline to submit the concern so that its location can be investigated. Earth Week has come and passed, but was met with great success in the compost giveaway, with donations going to community care. In early May, I attended our committee meetings, the first one being Public Works. We had a presentation on the Master Servicing Plan, planning out to 2051. As you know, this is very important to West Lincoln as we move forward in the growth of our community over the next number of decades. We also discussed wet weather flow reduction programs and infiltration into sanitary sewers. This program is crucial in reducing volumes and processing cost to our residents. The second presentation that day was an update on our biosolids master plan. The contract was awarded in 2021 to the GM Blue Plan Limited. A public information meeting was held on May the 17th, and the findings and recommendations will be presented to committee and council in the fall of this year. I will keep you informed of this. Most of you know that our local farmers have always supported land applications for our agriculture crops here in West Lincoln. So later that day, I attended the Public Health and Community Services. As always, lots of discussion on mental health and addictions, homelessness, and affordable housing. As you know, this is always a very complex situation. We here in Niagara have some very dedicated staff working very hard at managing concerns to the most vulnerable of our community. So here in West Lincoln, we have 56 co-op units with 15 rent supplements for our retirees. The need for housing is great in Niagara and other communities as well. Our service manager stated that the wait list in Niagara is 8,600 units. This will be an incredible challenge at a point of consideration. When we look at new development here in West Lincoln, we should highly consider a mix of housing to accommodate a portion of this huge need. So I also joined and attended a quarterly meeting on the Community Advisory Board. We reviewed the Community Homelessness Report of 2022-23, and this report was to give us an overview of the work here in Niagara for the accountability of federal funding for the homeless program. So we mainly discussed Housing First, Home for Good strategy, which is has a very high rate of success for clients. Also, new facilities being built in Fort Erie for transitional housing, and this would be for women and children seeking shelter from abusive relationships. This project would have 25 units, a mix of bachelor, 2-bedroom, 3 bedrooms. So just for perspective on homelessness situation here in Niagara, we received an update for March 2023, and we've seen an average of 1,100 persons seeking shelter. So as the next day, as our planning meeting, a couple highlights from the meeting was the launch of the, as they call, PRIP program, which is the Public Realm Investment Program for 2023. Deadline for this program is June the 2nd, 2023. It's a cost-sharing program, as many as you know, from the region to local municipalities. And the other big item, as we've all seen, is the discussion around Bill 97 as it pertains to places to grow and changes the provincial policy statement. Many agriculture commodity groups have expressed concerns on the new change in this legislation. As many of you know, this pertains to allowing 3 new lot creations per agriculture farm. Details are limited around definitions, and great concerns are for those trying to farm with non-farm residents. Another issue is the green belt and specialty crop areas. We have huge concerns over this new legislation. And today I attended the chair of the Golden Horseshoe Food and Farming Alliance, and it's been, OMAFRA was there, and they stated that greenbelt would be protected, and so would specialty croplands, but we will have to wait and see on those, if that gets written into the legislation later this year. And this is all that I understand will be put in place of January 2024. So this is my report. Thank you for allowing me the time to inform you. So if there's any questions on my report, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
Well, we'd like to start by thanking you for doing that, Albert. I really appreciate that you take such detailed information to bring back to this council. It allows me to look at the other things when I do my mayor's reports. So when I had a look at yours today, I was really pleased to see that you had included all of that. So thank you for that. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Rayner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through to the regional councillor. What was the name of that company that was awarded the biosolids again, Albert? Blue something, you said?
GM Blue. There it is. GM Blue Plan Limited.
Where are they out of?
I'm not sure.
So through to the mayor to Albert, do they intend on applying the biosolids to the West Lincoln area? Or do you know what area of the region they're planning on doing it? And what lagoons are they pulling out of?
So through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Rayner, this is a consulting company reviewing the operations of the biosolids, operation at the region, looking at ways to expand it or operate it more efficient, look at different systems over the next 20 years. They are not the service provider at this point in time. I believe Thompson is the service provider for land application. So the consultant will review, like most of the time when you do a long-term plan, the consultant will review your operation and make recommendations. I'm sure there'll be some expansions of Garner Road as looking at our growth targets and different systems that process biosolids. I believe that right now that they are dewatering and drying and selling cake across the border. And there's also, what you're familiar with, Councillor Rayner, is the land application method.
Through Madam Mayor to the regional councillor. Is this not awarded on an annual basis? Who applies for this? Is this not a tendered thing that's done every year by the region, or do they keep the same individuals all the time? What is the process involved for those who are ones who actually apply, which you say Thompson is?
Yeah, Thomas was awarded the contract, and the contract was extended by a year. I believe they're 5 to 7 year contracts, usually reflecting equipment life, just like a waste collection contract. It's based on usually a life expectancy of vehicles. So that contract has been awarded. But this is actually the consultant reviewing the entire plan. But the service provider, yes, they have a contract for this year, and I believe next year.
One final question, Madam Mayor, through your councillor. Are they using tankers and liquid injection, or are they going solid application?
Oh, I believe a combination of both.
Of both, okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further from you? Councillor Bradrick?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor, to Councillor Woodavine. Thank you for your report. You had mentioned about the waste hotline at the beginning of your report about illegal dumping, and unfortunately, out in the rural areas, there's certainly too much of that. And when I've supported constituents in the past, there was an online reporting tool. Do you know if that still exists? You had mentioned the hotline, but I believe there was an online reporting tool that you could get on the website.
Yeah, through Madam Mayor to Councillor Broderick. Yes, there's, it's also through Crime Stoppers. It's a way that if residents put in the complaint, then that complaint is documented, and through that they can track those problem areas. And yes, there is the hotline that residents can call at 24/7 and leave the message, and staff will come out and investigate. And usually it's a bit of forensic investigation to find out who the owner is, and if there's no ownership attached, then it's dealt with. And from there, it will be recorded that that's a problem area, and then they will set up surveillance at those areas to try to combat that location for illegal dumping.
Very good. Thank you very much. That's my only question.
So encouraging residents to make those reports is really critical then to trying to control some of that for sure. Councillor Rayner again, second time.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Broderick brought up a good suggestion or thought that came across. There was some illegal dumping down the road from where I live on land that's owned by an individual in Burlington. I don't even know if he knows it's even there, but they finally put some stones up front, but they backed down fairly large vehicles and put, I would say, tons of debris. Is there anything the region can do? Like I don't even know if it's reported or not, although I had mentioned it to the Township of West Lincoln, so they know about it. Is there anything the owner can do? Will a region take it away and get rid of it? Or if it's illegally dumped and nobody's around and they take off, is the owner responsible for the mess that's left? Or is there a process involved with the region that they can actually clean this up for them?
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Rayner, that's a good question. I understand my only knowledge would be if they put it on township property, that obviously we are responsible. Depending what the source of the material is, I would think the landowner would hopefully do some due diligence to, stop that. If it's household garbage, I'm sure the region would come and clean it up. If it's fill or bricks or
It's building material.
Building materials, I'm not sure how that would be dealt with. I'm sure they would investigate it and decide how they would deal with it. So it would be, I wouldn't say my guess, but I would understand that the region would probably investigate to find out, what's the best way to deal with it and talk to the landowner and find some resolution.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions, thank you very much, Councillor Woodavine.
You're welcome.
Okay, so confirmation of minutes is number 9, regular council minutes from April 24th. Councillor Chichok, you have that resolution, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the minutes of the April 24th, 2023 regular council meeting be accepted.
Thank you. We need a seconder for that. Councillor Broderick, thank you. Shall we see if our voting procedures work tonight? They do when they do? Okay. Did everybody get it? Yeah. Good. Okay. Okay, and there it's on. Very good. So it did work. Well done. Okay, so 9.2 are council minutes, special council meeting from April 26, 2023, confidential minutes under separate cover. And Councillor Broderick, you have that resolution.
Yes, moved by myself that the minutes of the open session portion of the April 26, 2023 special council meeting be accepted, and Two, that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of the April 26, 2023 special council meeting be accepted, and that the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with exceptions provided, Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you. And someone to second that, please? Councillor Riley, thank you. And fingers crossed that this vote also works. And that resolution also carries. Okay, and 9.3, again, special council meeting minutes from May 1st, 2023. Again, confidential minutes under a separate cover. And Councillor Chichok, you also have that, please.
Yes, thank you. Moved by myself that the minutes of the open session portion of the May 1st, 2023 special council meeting be accepted, and that the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of the May 1st, 2023 special council meeting be accepted, and the minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with exemptions provided in Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you. And again, someone to second that, please. Councillor Rayner, thank you. And again, so far so good. And that resolution also carries. I hate to think that this is going to work tonight. However, so far so good. This is wonderful. Okay, so 9.4 is a public meeting under the Planning Act. The minutes from May 8th, 2023. And Councillor Rayner, you have that resolution, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Move that the minutes of the public meeting held on May the 8th, 2023, under Section 17 and 34 of the Planning Act with respect to A, zoning bylaw amendment, 5623 20 Mile Road, 9109072 Canada, Inc., and B, official plan amendment, proposed township official plan amendment number 65 be accepted.
Thank you. And someone to second that, please. Councillor Broderick. Thank you. And the vote is there for your voting pleasure. And that also carries. Okay, number 10 is communications, and we have a statement ready in honor of Pride Month of 2023, re-recognition resolution for the Township of West Lincoln. And Councillor Riley, you have that.
Yes, I do, Madam Mayor. I guess moved by myself. Whereas the month of June is Pride Month in the region of Niagara and around the globe, and whereas municipalities across the region will be holding a variety of Pride commemorations throughout the month of June, commencing with the raising of the Pride flag on Monday, May 29th, 2023. And whereas we recognize that public representation is extremely valuable and is an important way to help all people and especially marginalized communities feel safe, welcome, supported, and valued. And whereas we are committed to fostering a diverse and inclusive community where hatred and discrimination are not welcome, now therefore be it resolved that the Township of West Lincoln acknowledge June as Pride Month and encourage the West Lincoln community to unite in support of Pride and all of its members. Further, that the Township of West Lincoln Council endorse the following Pride initiatives in West Lincoln. 1, the Township raising of the Progress Pride flag on Monday, May 29th. And 2, the sharing of information related to Pride Month in Niagara on all Township social media accounts. And 3, the various Pride events and community engagements opportunities organized by and held at, I don't have the thing up, sorry. Let me read that again. Number 3, the various Pride events and community engagement opportunities organized by and held at the West Lincoln Public Library from May 29th and lasting until the end of day, June 30th.
Thank you. I need a seconder for that resolution, please. Councillor Broderick, thank you. And while we're waiting for the vote, I will say that that flag will be raised at 11:30 on Monday, the 29th. Okay, that resolution or endorsement actually carries as well. Thank you. That brings us to item number 11, which are the mayor's remarks. And so I don't have as many pages as I had last week, you'll be happy to know. However, there have been a lot of things happening through the month of May. So since our last council meeting, I've attended a Chamber After 5 event at Burt Viss Flooring and was pleased to tour his new addition, which now allows them to better serve their contractor clients. Some people were surprised. Actually, you can't see from the roadway that has occurred. It's tucked way in behind and goes back. That property is quite deep, and so the addition actually can't be seen from the road. I also had the pleasure, along with Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Janice Potter and President Janelle Van Hulst, of attending Lincoln Mayor Sandra Easton's State of the Town luncheon at Rockaway Glen Vineyards. The week of May 1st to 7th was extremely busy, but I did, along with other volunteers from both Kiwanis and West Lincoln Community Care, manage to fit in a couple of 3-hour-long shifts decorating Smile cookies. I will also say that I fed many people Smile cookies. I think I bought about 6 or 7 dozen. They freeze well for the future reference. That was an extremely successful campaign, by the way, and it garnered over $25,000 for West Lincoln Community Care to help those in our community who are most in need. And I would especially like to thank Violet McDonald from Tim Hortons, who organized this event, along with Charlene Volpatti and Heather Gilfillian and Steph Mello from West Lincoln Community Care. They organized the event together, and it took a small army of volunteers to make this event work so well. And I would really like to publicly thank all who worked in any way at all on that campaign. On Tuesday, May 2nd, I represented West Lincoln as I attended the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Niagara Hospice at Foyer Richelieu. This will be a 10-bed facility that will serve anyone in need, but will be more able to serve the Francophone community. So it's not exclusive to the Francophone community, but it certainly is something that will service their needs as well in their native language. I received an invitation from the grade 6 teacher at St. Martin's to attend their Faith Fair on May 3rd, and as a former teacher, I'm very pleased to be able to have discussed the projects with many of those students. On Thursday, May 4th, I was pleased to represent West Lincoln at Jillian's Place as they made the announcement of their new plans and their related financial campaign to grow the number of spaces available to women and children who are victims of gender-based violence. Currently, they've had to use office and recreational areas to house families in need. They've just run right out of room. And Jillian's Place does provide service to West Lincoln residents in need of their help. Also on May 4th, I attended a Niagara Region Economic Summit in Niagara-on-the-Lake as mayors and other stakeholders from across Niagara listened to a series of speakers on the merits of working together as one as we examine tourism strategies. And essentially the emphasis was on the grape and wine industry, needless to say. On Friday, May 5th, our CAO and I were pleased to attend the West Lincoln Firefighters Awards Banquet, offer thanks to the firefighters for their service to our community, and additionally witness the service awards being presented that evening. Saturday, May 6th was the final day of that busy week with the community-wide Kids Care Food Drive being held. Over 9,000 pounds of food were collected, sorted by type and date, and boxed ready to go on the shelves of the food bank. Again, work was done by a good-sized army of volunteers made up of board members and weekly volunteers from West Lincoln Community Care, members of the Kiwanis Club of West Lincoln and the Knights of Columbus, some Robert Land Academy students and a staff member, and members of the general public as well. This was just another example of great community spirit at work. On Tuesday, May 9th, West Lincoln hosted the Kiwanis Governor of the Eastern Caribbean and Canadian Division as he toured our new community centre, Fort, the Cunin Farm, Niagara Christian Gleaners, and our council chambers for a photo op. I must say he came from Curacao, had never seen a farm the size of the Cunin Farm, nor had seen cattle, dairy cattle milked by computerization, and was most impressed. And he enjoyed sitting in this seat and having his photo taken. That same afternoon, we also hosted the Penn West Inc. AGM, as Councillor Jason Trombetta is the new chair of that board. And so he ran those two meetings, actually. On May 12th, the Age Friendly Advisory Committee welcomed just over 70 people to an anti-fraud presentation for older adults in the upstairs program rooms at the community center. Tom Cheel from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Centre was well received as a guest speaker. It was also an opportunity to introduce some attendees to the senior social time on Friday mornings, as that opportunity followed the presentation. And I'd like to thank the members of the advisory committee for organizing this very successful event. On the afternoon of May 15th, CAO Hendry, Regional Councillor Witteveen, and I boarded a bus, along with many other regional councillors and CAOs, to attend the Niagara Week reception at Queen's Park. This bus trip was much longer than anticipated due to a serious accident on the highway, but the reception did provide an excellent networking opportunity with other neighboring officials and members of the provincial government as well. Meetings with various ministers went on over a 3 to 4 day period to discuss in more detail issues of concern from the region. Tuesday, May 16th, our market returned with a great plant sale and included other vendors such as ice cream, cheese, and home baking, and that was repeated as well today, May 23rd. The regular market hours return in mid-June with fresh produce, and that should begin to be ready. And finally, I'd like to sincerely thank senior staff and my council colleagues for their attendance at the West Lincoln Chamber of Commerce Mayor's Luncheon on Thursday, May 18th. Additionally, I would like to thank the committee members from the Chamber for their work in organizing this event. From the noise in the room as people arrived, it was evident that people were absolutely delighted to be back at an in-person event. I must say that I was dismayed to learn after the fact that depending upon seating, some were unable to hear parts of what I was saying due to technical issues. Apparently, Cogeco was able to perfectly record my remarks and will broadcast it May 24th at 9 p.m., May 27th at 7 p.m., and again on May 28th at 12:30 for those who would actually like to hear what I was saying or for those who missed the event entirely. So once again, the flag-raising events, as I said earlier, May 29th at 11:30 is the Pride flag. Monday, June 5th is the JAAC flag raising at 11, and Friday, June 9th, the Age-Friendly Niagara flag at 10. So we have lots of those coming up in the next little while, and I certainly welcome any councillors who are available to attend those events. Thank you. Moving on now to reports of committee. Councillor Riley, you have the Planning, Building, and Environmental Committee minutes from May 8th, 2023.
I do. I guess moved by myself that the minutes of the open session portion of the May 8th, 2023 Planning, Building, Environmental Committee meeting be accepted and that the recommendations contained therein be approved with the exception of items, and there's currently none. And that, two, the confidential minutes relating to the closed session portion of the May 8th, 2023 Planning, Building, Environmental Committee meeting be accepted and that those minutes remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with Section 239 of the Municipal Act.
Thank you. I need someone to second that, please. Councillor Trombetta, thank you. And your voting pleasure when the clerk gets that up on the screen. Oh, didn't? Oh. Yeah, tonight's not the night for perfect. Okay, great, thank you, that also carries. So number 13 is a reconsideration, and there are no issues to be reconsidered, and nothing to rescind as far as I know, which takes us to item 15, which is other business. 15.1 is consent agenda items, and Councillor Trombetta, you have that resolution.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the council hereby approve the following consent agenda items. Items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are hereby received for information, and that items 8 is hereby received and the recommendations contained therein be adopted. 1, Mayor's Youth Advisory Committee minutes of April 5th, 2023. 2, West Lincoln Santa Claus Parade Committee minutes, January 25th, 2023. 3, West Lincoln Santa Claus Parade Committee minutes, February 1st, 2023. 4, West Lincoln Santa Claus Parade Committee April 5th, 2023. 5, Information Report T11 2023, Financial Update as of April 30th, 2023. 6, Information Report PW 14 2023 at St. Anne's Road, Reconstruction Municipal Class Environmental Assessment Study EA completion. 7, Information Report WLFD 0723, a monthly update April 2023. And 8, Recommendation Report T10 2023 tax rate bylaw.
Thank you. You had a lot to read tonight.
Yes.
Well done. Is there anyone who wishes to pull any of those? All right, seeing none, the resolution.
I would pull.
Oh,
Let's,
go ahead.
I always like to pull, let's pull item number 7 if I can get a seconder.
Okay. So we will deal with the rest of the, get that out of the way, and then we'll deal with 7 if that's okay. All right, so the vote on all of the other items with the exception of 7?
Seconder, pull 7.
Oh, you want a second to pull, sorry, Joanne. Councillor Chichok.
notification line.
Okay, so this is all of the rest. Okay. And that carries, and we'll look now, Councillor, at item number 7
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to Acting Chief Hossink. I had a couple of constituents reach out about Fire Station 2, and I see production is happening. It's going, but they're just wondering, I guess, they're eager as much as quite sure our members of council and the mayor are eager to see what the completion dates are, where status are, and when possible is going to be an opening. And I know some of us are looking for a free lunch, but just looking when the opening is going to be happening there for Fire Station 2. So.
Through you, Madam Mayor, to Councillor Trombetta. Station 2 is coming along well. We've had a couple of later in the project hiccups that are pretty much expected, just technical things. So right now, the interior is being finished. Painting is largely completed. The bays are mostly ready for use. We're waiting on a couple of trades to wrap up some of the work that has to be done inside. And we're dealing with just a couple of challenges that go with a fairly large project. But currently, we're looking at completion sometime probably mid to late June. And I really don't want to put any sort of timelines to open houses or anything of that sort until we have a little bit more of a solid deadline or a timeline for the completion of that building, because it's still a little bit in the air. There are a few pieces that are taking longer than we expected because some of these delays are still COVID related. Like our generator, for example, is not expected to arrive until July. That won't stop us from occupying the building, but there are a few other things that are like that as well. So we're eager to get in there as well, but there are still a few pieces of the puzzle that have to be fitted into it, and I'm expecting that we should be occupying it by probably midsummer, I would say, is pretty reasonable. Yeah.
Through you, Madam Mayor, if I have a request, I'm on holidays at the end of July, please wait for me.
Absolutely.
Till I get back, most is mid-August, so that's all, if we can.
I don't know if you have that much pull.
If you can. I'd love to see the opening when it does come, so.
We're all looking forward to that. Okay,
That's
thank you.
all the questions I had.
Thank you. Anything else while we have the acting chief? Councillor Chichok?
Well, I would just like to tell Councillor Trombetta that if there is food at that event and he does miss it, I'll promise to put a package together in my freezer and you can see it and have it when you get back.
Okay, so you will move then
I'll move that, yeah.
to, and we need someone to second item number 7. Well, she did the overall, but so
Could you second my?
both. We'll let you do both.
I will, and I'll
Thank you.
freeze the hamburger too.
Since she's so generous, we'll let her do both parts of that, so thank you then. So we just need to look at number 7 then, Madam Clerk. Okay. And that also carries, thank you. So 15.2 is the tabled item that we still carry, and we'll leave there till we see whether we need it or not. 15.3 is Director of Finance Treasurer Donna DeFilippis, an information report T-12-2023, and it's the 2023 long-term borrowing update. And Councillor Chichok, you're active tonight, you also have that resolution.
I've got the short ones, though, not to worry. Move on myself. That information report T-12-2023 regarding 2023 long-term borrowing update dated May 23rd, 2023 be received.
Thank you. And a seconder for that, please. Councillor Trombetta. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, seeing none. That resolution also carries. So 15.4 is the Manager of Parks, Recreation and Facilities, Bob Dennison, and Director of Public Works and Recreation, Mike DiPaolo. Read the recommendation report, Rec 04-2023, the Leisureplax Ball Diamonds, the award of the LED lighting upgrades. And Councillor Trombetta, you have this resolution.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Another long one.
It's okay.
Well done.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that the recommendation report, REC 04-2023, Leisureplax Ball Diamonds Award of LED lighting upgrades dated May 23rd, 2023 be received. And that two, council accepts the award, the proposal submitted by Conrad Lighting Solutions in the amount of $222,000 excluding HST. And that council approved a $10,000 contingency amount, a 10% contingency amount of $22,000 for this project, and that the total estimated project cost of $250,000 be approved, and that a bylaw be passed to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter an agreement with Conrad Lighting Solutions.
Need a seconder for that, please. Councillor Riley, thank you. Any questions or comments? Councillor Rayner?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Through to the Director of Public Works. My math is off on this. We're approving $222,000 from Conrad Lighting, and we're approving a contingency of $22,000, which makes it $244,000, but it says the estimated cost is $250,000. Isn't the estimated cost $244,000 because you've already broken it out? So why do you need another 6 added, or is that just rounding it off to the near $250,000?
Through the mayor to Councillor Rayner, if you look at page 3 of the report, under financial implications, you got the Conrad Lighting's proposal of 222, a contingency, and then there's a net HST and other miscellaneous costs of 6,000. So that adds up to 250,000.
Through you, Madam Mayor. HST on 220,000 is only...
It's the net HST, so it's only 1.76%.
Oh, instead of
Yeah.
13.
Instead of 13, correct.
Oh, well, how does that occur?
I'm not sure.
Because I like to get in on it, like...
Through you, Mayor Ganan, to Councillor Rayner, you probably don't want to get in on it because most companies get 100% of the HST back. Municipalities don't. So in a normal operations, you'd be paying HST, but you typically get it back when you file your return. A municipality does not get it all back. So that's why we have a net HST cost.
And it's not through you, and it's not 13% then? It's a lot
No,
less?
and most companies pay 13%, and then when they file their return monthly or quarterly, they file their revenue and their expenses, and they get the HST back, 100%. A municipality doesn't. So HST is 7% GST and 5% HST, or 8%. I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. We don't get all the HST. We do not get all of the PST back, like the provincial portion. So we have a cost. That's what that represents. Because usually HST is not an actual net cost. So you probably don't want to be in our boat.
It's still confusing to me. Like, it says HST, so the PST, I believe, is 5%, and the federal is 8%, which makes the 13. So how did the director get point? You had point something?
1.2.
1.2?
1.76% is the net HST. Correct?
It's in the report.
I just don't know how they got that such a low number. But anyways, that's fine.
You're fine with that? I'm just particularly pleased that it actually came in under budget. So if we only get back part of the HST, I'm good with that. Any further? Councillor Broderick.
Yes, through you, Mayor, to the Director. I was also pleased that it came in under budget, as this was a big item on our budget for this year. Do you have an expected timeline on completion?
Through the mayor to Councillor Bradrick, we haven't met with the contractor yet to get a full schedule yet, but we're anticipating that they'll probably do the work in the fall. In the
Okay,
fall
very
of this
good.
year.
So I guess for next ball season for
Correct.
Councillor Riley. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I guess just through you to the Councilor Rayner there, like, I get what he's saying, but I was going to also point out, that's already been pointed out, that it's coming in 30,000 under budget there too, so that gives any peace of mind there. I think that's important part to highlight. And, yeah, and then the other question I was going to ask, Councilor Bradrick beat me to it, so, yeah, I look forward to seeing when these lights are installed, so thank you.
We were hoping they were going to be up sooner rather than later, right?
Next week.
Weren't we all, but that's okay. They'll be up and that'll be great. Okay, so Madam Clerk, when you're ready. Councillor Bradrick, did you get this one? Oh, good. Good. Okay, and that resolution also carries. Item 15.5 is Coordinator of Engineering Services Jennifer Bernard and Director of Public Works and Recreation Mike DiPaula. Recommendation Report PW-15-2023, 1989 Abington Road Land Purchase for Road Allowance. Councillor Bradrick, you have that.
Yes, moved by myself that the recommendation report PW-15-2023 regarding 1989 Abington Road land purchase for road allowance dated May 23rd, 2023 be received, and that a bylaw be passed to authorize the mayor and clerk to sign an agreement for the purchase of Part 2 of Reference Plan Number 30R-15980 on the southeast corner of Abington Road and Concession 5 Road, and that once the lands have been transferred to the Township of West Lincoln, a bylaw be passed to declare Part 2 on Reference Plan Number 30R-15980 on the southeast corner of Abington Road and Concession 5 Road as public highway.
Thank you. And someone to second that resolution, please? Councillor Riley, thank you. Okay, any questions or comments about this item? No, everybody remembers that came to us before, the road cut off? Okay, good. So I guess we're ready, Madam Clerk?
And I don't.
Seems like a long wait sometimes.
We're reading through it.
I already did it. Seven Canadian Tire Party
Okay,
or
it's-
something.
All right, now it's up, everybody's in.
I did
Good,
it.
thank you. That also carries. So item 15.6 is members of council with council remarks. So I'm going to start with you, Councillor Bradrick. Do you have anything you'd like to share this evening?
Not a lot, however, there is a Silverdale barbecue that is coming up on June the 9th from 5 to 6:30. The information can be found on their Facebook page. They're going to be selling pies and having their annual barbecue to raise funds for for that hall. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Trombetta, anything from you tonight?
Not much, Madam Mayor. I did attend the grand opening of the Creekside Country Market on
I
Saturday.
thought you might speak about that.
Yeah, I
Good.
did. I noticed you had a busy schedule yourself, so I thought you were going to leave this one for me, so I'm thankful that
Yeah, I was there. I
you
was
were
happy
there
to
as
see
well.
it
So I
back.
did attend that as a grand opening. The weather wasn't so favorable for the Saturday, but I thought it was pretty busy for the Sunday, so just wanted to mention those and that to you.
Okay. Councillor Riley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, not a whole lot to report, I guess, from this last month. Just wanted to mention that I was able to, as you know, attend your mayor luncheon there, and I thought it was really well received. I think we were pretty packed to capacity. If I don't know what the final numbers were in the end there, but I don't think there was another seat. I know they were kind of scrounging around looking for seats for some of the committee members.
Committee members.
Yeah, and so it was a really amazing opportunity to be a part of that and to have you address the community the way you did. And yeah, I look forward to the next 4 years with you.
Thank you. Councillor Chichok. Any reports on the market tonight? Is it any better today?
The market was really supposed to be focused about plants. There were a couple of other vendors there, and this is the second week the market has been going. And yeah, it's if council meetings are on Tuesday nights, it may be difficult to slip out of my grungies and into council. It is great to see people seeing each other again this year as they did last year, and taking time to meet with vendors, many of whom are from West Lincoln. And we now are on a bit of a hiatus until June 13th, when the regular market season will be returning to the Recreation Center parking lot, and there will probably be other events during those evenings as well. I know soccer is at the back, so the parking lot has got a bit of congestion, but there's lots of room for other patrons. And just on a second note, Councillor Braddock has talked about the fundraiser at Silverdale. But as always, there's good food and good times to meet with friends that evening. It usually runs between 5 and 7 on June the 9th, and I think I'd look forward to seeing any and everybody out, because the monies that are raised there are used to support the hall and its continued progress at keeping it at a standard that we all are very, very fortunate and feel great about having in that area. I did make some time this past month to make smile cookies when I could find a place where the mayor and her husband weren't there, and there weren't some children from some of the schools and various other volunteers that were there. But I have to say that late at night and early in the morning, those smiles just don't make it. I enjoyed the time, and again, it was amazing just to watch the people of the community come out to help raise that $25,000. And I do have to say that Violet, the manager of our Tim Hortons, is one jewel. She just runs around that place and gets everything humming, and it was just great to package and put icing on those cookies. So, and I did want to apologize for having to leave your luncheon early. I did spend a lot of time on that luncheon. It was a wonderful event. You did a great job, and I'm looking forward to hearing it on one of the video places, because I had to go to a meeting elsewhere for another board that I'm on.
Well, and I do appreciate the fact that you were on that committee. So as our council representative on the chamber, then Councillor Chichok was part of that committee too. So I do appreciate that. Councillor Rainier, anything tonight?
Just again, with regards to the luncheon, I thought it was very nice. I was surprised how packed it was and how many people were there. And I was one of the fortunate ones that were relatively close to you, so I could hear you.
Glad.
I think it would have been a little better if you were on a stool, though, because you were a little bit on the low side, so it wasn't carrying across the room.
Did I look too short?
Yeah,
That's
no, I heard it very clear, and it was very well done, so thank you for the evening, or for the day, I should say. It was very nicely attended, and a lot of interesting people to speak to there. It
was a very diverse group, and I was pleased with that. There were people from the business community and residents, and
It was
staff.
very diversified, and I was quite surprised, actually. So, thank you.
Okay, Madam CAO, anything from you tonight?
No, thank you very much, though, for asking.
Madam Clerk, anything you'd like to say tonight? Okay, we'll let it go. All right, so any new items of business that need to come up this evening? Well, then that takes us to 17 bylaws, and Councillor Rayner, you have that, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Moved by myself that Lee be granted to introduce bylaws 2023-35, 2023-36, 2023-37, and 2023-38, and that the same shall be considered to have been read a first, second, and third time with one reading, and are hereby adopted, and that the mayor and clerk be and hereby authorized to sign and affix the corporate seal thereto. Any rule of this council to the contrary is notwithstanding.
Thank you. So someone to second bylaws, please. Councillor Braderick, thank you. All right, and we're ready for a vote. Madam Clerk, when you are. Okay, and that also carries. And there are no confidential matters this evening, but before we declare the meeting adjourned, we just have one little. So, Madam Clerk, since this is your last official council meeting, we just want to acknowledge that and thank you. This is the start of the down thing. So this is just because the June meeting, you'll be away on vacation. And we want to acknowledge that this is your last official meeting, so just a little thank you. You can stay. Thank you. So, anyway, so we won't do anything further but declare the meeting adjourned at 7:25. Jason, will that get you to hockey?